You know that feeling, right? A modern dilemma. You got remote work flexibility, this desire for new experiences, but keeps hitting up against, well, your actual daily work. The tension, yeah. A lot of us feel it. But what if there's a way, kind of subtle, almost clever, to weave a quick getaway into your work week, maybe without anyone noticing? Today, we're really going to dig into this idea that's popping up more and more, the hush trip. And even more interesting, we're unpacking this new business idea built around it, the Hush Trip Concierge Service. Our mission today is simple. Figure out what this service actually does, why now seems to be the perfect time for it, and, what makes it tick. What are the key parts? Okay, so let's pull back the curtain a bit. What exactly is a hush trip? It's a term apparently coined by Gen Z mostly that describes employees, quietly logging into work, but from a vacation spot, for part of the week anyway. The main idea is blending a short trip with remote work, often under the radar of employers.
Yeah, and it's more than just a buzzword, I think. What's really telling isn't just the flexibility people want, but how they're trying to get it. I saw this informal poll recently among remote workers. It found almost 40% admitted to doing something like quiet vacationing, even if their company rules were unclear or kind of discouraged it. That really shows a gap, doesn't it, between what companies expect and what people actually want or need. It's not just flexibility, it's sort of a quiet push for more personal autonomy in this whole remote work thing. People trying to make work fit their life, not the other way around.
40%. Wow. That's fascinating because it immediately flags that tension you mentioned. If it's designed to be undetected, doesn't that bring up some, let's say, practical questions about trust, transparency for everyone involved, even if the goal is just, better well-being? Is that something a service built around this would need to tackle head on?
Oh, absolutely. That's a key point. While hush sounds secretive, the reality is often, well, more complex. It might happen because company policy is vague, or maybe someone fears being judged, Like their boss might think they're slacking off instead of seeing it as maybe boosting productivity or preventing burnout. And that's exactly why a concierge service needs to tread carefully here. Maybe offer options that do allow for transparency, or at least be really clear about the risks if you don't tell your employer.
Right, that makes total sense. So, okay, if hush trips are the trend, and they come with these logistical, maybe even ethical complexities, then the next logical question is, how does someone actually do this well? Stay productive, stay discreet if needed. It sounds like it takes quite a bit of planning, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To be efficient and maybe fly under the radar. Is that where a specialized service really finds its niche?
Precisely. Yeah, that's exactly where the Hush Trip Concierge idea comes in. It basically steps in to organize these escapes, making sure they're safe, efficient, and genuinely set up for work. These services are really tailored specifically for digital nomads, remote workers, hybrid folks, anyone who wants that balance, the change of scene without work falling apart.
Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts then. If I sign up, what do I actually get? What are the concrete things they deliver?
Think of it like a full package for discreet travel and work support. So, first up, destination and accommodation. They find you short stays, often pretty close by, and the absolute key is rock-solid Wi-Fi. That's non-negotiable. And the places themselves. They're vetted to be properly work-friendly. We're talking good desks, quiet space, maybe even access to a co-working spot if you want it. Then you've got itineraries. These are deliberately mixed, like dedicated work time in the morning, then afternoons free to explore or just relax. The service also handles the crucial logistics, things like finding reliable cafes with Wi-Fi, getting you a local SIM card, maybe arranging rental of travel-friendly work gear, and even helping sort out time zones so you don't miss important calls. Plus, for a bit extra, you often see optional add-ons like city passes, healthy meal deliveries, maybe even mindfulness sessions, really rounding out the recharge aspect. And looking at how these businesses run, their operational model can be pretty flexible. It might be subscription-based, for people who do this often. Or maybe a one-off fee per trip, like booking VIP travel. They could offer different tiers of service, or, and this is probably quite effective, build partnerships directly with boutique hotels or those co-working spaces.
Okay, on that point about partnerships, when you say partnerships with hotels and co-working venues, are we talking about like exclusive deals where they just buy rooms in bulk? Or is it more integrated, like technically integrated, where the concierge service plugs straight into their booking systems? Because that seems like it would really help with the whole discretion and efficiency thing you mentioned.
That's a really sharp point. It could certainly be either. But yeah, the most effective scalable models, they likely lean towards API integrations. tech integration, that lets them manage availability in real time, Instant confirmations, easy package customization, less back and forth. It's kind of like how modern travel sites work with their partners, but with that extra layer of focus on discretion and making sure the place is actually ready for work. So stepping back again, why is this whole idea taking off now? What's driving it? I think there are three really key drivers here. First, remote work isn't just a perk anymore, right? It's mainstream. People are actively looking for ways to integrate their lifestyle with work, moving past the old 9-to-5 office mindset. Second, there's just way more awareness about mental health, about burnout, short breaks, little escapes. They're seen as valuable now, necessary even for recharging. And third, look at the growth of bleisure travel mixing business trips with leisure. This hush trip idea, it's basically a micro version of that, kind of subscription ready. It fits naturally into that existing trend.
Yeah, those drivers definitely resonate with what's happening now. It feels like there's a real demand. But playing devil's advocate for a second, couldn't this trend also create new problems, like for team dynamics or company culture? If people are increasingly scattered or sort of subtly away on these trips, how might a service like this affect the bigger picture for teams, beyond just the individual wanting a break?
That's a really important question, a critical counterpoint, yeah. The individual benefits might be clear, but the impact on the team or the company culture, that's definitely something to think about. A service itself probably can't fix culture issues, obviously, but it can maybe help the employee manage things better, for instance, by providing tools to handle time zones smoothly, or by suggesting places that still let you join key team meetings online easily. It can help reduce friction. But ultimately, yeah, the responsibility often lands on the employee to keep communicating well and pulling their weight no matter where they are.
Right. Understanding those dynamics.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener, if you're trying to get your head around this trend, or maybe even thinking, hey, I could use a service like that? Well, the ideal customers seem pretty straightforward, don't they? Remote workers, freelancers, digital nomads, people with hybrid setups. Basically, anyone who wants a change of scene but really needs to keep their work routine stable and productive. And it feels like tech-savvy millennials, Gen Z folks, who really value that flexibility, they'd probably be especially interested.
Exactly. And thinking about the business side, how would a service like this actually make money? The revenue streams look quite varied, potentially pretty scalable too. You could have just a simple fixed fee per trip plan, straightforward. Then there's probably significant potential for commissions, right? Affiliate income from the hotels, the co-working spaces, maybe even those gear rental places they partner with. Subscriptions could be really powerful. Memberships from people who want regular mini retreats, that builds loyalty. And naturally, you could offer premium tiers, special themed trips, extra wellness options, maybe deeper dives into local culture. Lots of possibilities there. But it does bring up a key question. What are the really big practical challenges or hurdles you'd face if you were actually trying to offer a service this nuanced?
Yeah, there are definitely a few big ones. First, and maybe the one people talk about most, is the whole area of legality and ethics. Now, the service itself can't control company policies, but it has to be upfront with clients about, potential issues with their employment contracts.
Or maybe offer options that make it easier to be transparent if the client wants that. It's about giving people the info so they can decide wisely. Second, connectivity. That's huge. Reliable, fast Wi-Fi isn't just nice to have, it's essential. It means testing locations rigorously, vetting them properly. And third, time zone alignment. That can get complicated. The service needs to make sure the destinations work with the client's team schedule, their meeting times, minimizing disruption.
It really sounds like the main solution, especially for things like connectivity and making sure the space is actually work-friendly. It comes down to building a super solid network, a list of places that are carefully vetted, pre-qualified to meet all these specific needs. That seems crucial. Okay, so if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, I can definitely see myself signing up for something like that, or maybe you're just curious about whether there's real demand out there, here are a couple of ways you could, get a better feel for the market.
Yeah, one good approach. Join some of those online groups, Facebook, Slack for remote workers or digital nomads in your area or field. Just listen to the conversations, see what needs people are talking about. That gives you a real sense of the demand. Also, just keep an eye out. Are pilot programs or early offers for services like this starting to appear near you? And maybe watch how similar services, even if not exactly the same, use feedback. Testimonials are gold for refining these kinds of personal itineraries.
So wrapping up, this Hush Trip Concierge service. It really feels like an innovative, maybe even kind of ingenious response to how remote work is changing. It cleverly mixes that very human urge to travel, to see new things, with our work lives in a way that aims to be seamless.
Absolutely. And maybe the final thought to leave you with as we finish this deep dive, consider how this trend might really start to reshape how we think about work-life integration overall. What new ethical questions might keep popping up, and how will people and companies adapt to this growing fluidity between where work must happen and where you simply want to be? It's definitely a fascinating space to keep watching.